You are working out consistently, you are eating reasonably well, and your body is simply not responding the way it used to. The muscle is not coming, the fat is not going, and you are waking up exhausted, no matter how many hours you spend in bed. What you are describing is not a fitness problem. It is a growth hormone problem. And today, I am going to introduce you to the peptide stack that addresses it directly. Here is what I know after years of coaching women in menopause and experiencing this exact plateau in my own body. One of the most significant and least discussed hormonal declines in menopause is not from estrogen or progesterone. It is growth hormone. Growth hormone production begins declining in our 30s, and by the time we reach menopause, most women have growth hormone levels that are a fraction of what they were in their 20s. The consequences of that decline are written all over the experience most women describe in menopause. Muscle that will not build despite consistent effort, fat that will not move particularly around the belly, sleep that is light and unrestorative no matter how long you spend in bed, skin that is thinning and losing its firmness, recovery from exercise that takes longer than it used to, cognitive function that feels slower and less sharp. These are not inevitable consequences of aging that you simply have to accept. They are the predictable results of a specific hormonal decline, and there is a specific peptide stack designed to address it. Getting this right, safely, effectively, and with the lifestyle foundation that makes it work, requires coaching and physician support behind every decision. That is what Menofabulous is built around. And today you are getting the full clinical picture. I am Elizabeth Seegers, registered nurse and certified health coach. I lost 60 pounds in menopause. I used the Ipamorelin and CJC-1295 stack personally, and the changes it produced in my sleep, my body composition, and my recovery were among the most significant I experienced in my entire menopause protocol. Today, I am going to tell you exactly what these peptides are, exactly how they work, and exactly what needs to be in place around them for you to get the results that you are capable of producing. Now, before we go any further, I want to be clear about something. Everything I share here is for educational purposes. Peptides are powerful clinical tools, and they are not one-size-fits-all. What I share is based on my own personal experience and the women I coach, always under physician supervision and with labs to guide every decision. Please do not start any peptide protocol without working with a qualified healthcare provider who knows your full picture. That is not a legal disclaimer. That is me genuinely caring about your safety. Number 1, understand what Ipamorelin and CJC-1295 are and how they work together. These two peptides are almost always used as a stack, meaning they are used together because their mechanisms complement each other in a way that produces better results than either one alone. Ipamorelin is a growth hormone that stimulates your pituitary gland to produce and release growth hormone. It does this by mimicking ghrelin, a naturally occurring peptide that signals the pituitary to secrete growth hormone. What makes Ipamorelin particularly well suited for menopausal women is its selectivity. It stimulates growth hormone release without significantly raising cortisol or prolactin, two hormones that are already dysregulated in menopause and that you do not want further elevated. CJC-1295 is a growth hormone releasing hormone analog, meaning it mimics the hormone your hypothalamus uses to signal your pituitary to produce growth hormone. It works upstream with Ipamorelin in the same signaling pathway, and it extends the duration of the growth hormone pulse that Ipamorelin triggers. Together, Ipamorelin and CJC-1295 produce a more sustained, more physiologically natural elevation in growth hormone than either compound alone, more closely mimicking the natural pulsatile pattern of growth hormone release that your body used when it was producing it abundantly. Number 2, understand what the growth hormone pulse actually does for your body. When growth hormone is released, whether naturally or through peptide stimulation, it initiates a cascade of effects that are directly relevant to every complaint most menopausal women have about their bodies. It stimulates IGF-1 production in the liver, insulin-like growth factor 1, which is the primary mediator of growth hormone's anabolic effects on muscle tissue. Increased IGF-1 means your muscles have the biological signal they need to grow and repair. It promotes lipolysis, the breakdown of stored fat for fuel. particularly visceral fat, the metabolically dangerous fat that accumulates around the abdomen in menopause. It supports the deep, slow-wave sleep stages where the majority of physical repair and regeneration happens, which is one reason women on this stack often report dramatically improved sleep quality within the first few weeks. It supports collagen synthesis, which affects your skin, your joint integrity, and connective tissue health. And it supports cognitive function, clarity, focus, and processing speed in ways that many women describe as one of the most welcome and unexpected benefits of the stack. Number 3, understand the sleep connection specifically. This deserves its own point because it is one of the most immediate and most impactful effects women experience on the Ipamorelin and CJC-1295 stack. And it is the one that most people do not anticipate. The majority of natural growth hormone release happens during deep, slow-wave sleep, specifically in the first few hours of the night. As growth hormone declines, sleep quality declines with it. And as sleep quality declines, growth hormone declines further because the mechanism for its release is disrupted. This is a cycle. Ipamorelin and CJC-1295 are typically administered at bedtime specifically to coincide with and amplify the natural growth hormone pulse that occurs during early sleep. Women who have been struggling with light, fragmented sleep for years often report a meaningful improvement in sleep depth and restorative quality within 2 to 4 weeks on this stack. And because deep sleep is when cortisol regulation, tissue repair, hunger hormone reset, and metabolic restoration all happen, improving sleep quality through this mechanism produces downstream effects on energy, body composition, mood, and cognitive function that go far beyond the sleep itself. Number 4, understand the vitamin D3, K2, and omega-3 connection to this stack. The growth hormone and IGF-1 system do not operate in isolation. Vitamin D receptors are present in virtually every tissue in the body, including muscle and bone, and vitamin D plays a direct role in how effectively your muscles respond to the anabolic signals that growth hormone and IGF-1 produce. Women who are vitamin D deficient, which is the majority of menopausal women, are working with a compound receptor system that blunts the muscle-building response to everything, including Ipamorelin and CJC-1295. Getting your vitamin D level into the optimal range, not just the normal range, before and during peptide therapy is one of the most important things you can do to maximize your results. K2 ensures that the calcium mobilized by vitamin D goes into your bones and not to your arterial walls. And omega-3 fatty acids reduces the systemic inflammation that competes with the repair and regeneration signals that growth hormone is driving. Think of omega-3s as clearing the noise so the peptide signal can be heard more clearly by your cells. And exactly this, is what we talk about inside the Menofabulous community every single day. Women on the Ipamorelin and CJC-1295 stack sharing their sleep improvements, their body composition changes, their energy shifts, and the coaching support that helps them get the dosing, timing, and lifestyle pieces right. If you are not in there yet, the link is below. Come find us. Number 5, understand the resistance training requirement alongside this stack. Ipamorelin and CJC-1295 raise growth hormone. Growth hormone stimulates IGF-1. IGF-1 signals muscle tissue to grow and repair, but muscle tissue alone grows in response to demand. If you are not placing a progressive load on your muscles through resistance training, the IGF-1 signal has nowhere to go. The anabolic environment that this peptide stack creates is an opportunity, and resistance training is what converts that opportunity into actual muscle. Women on this stack who are lifting 2 to 3 times per week consistently report body composition changes that are significantly more pronounced than women who are not training. This is not a coincidence. The peptide creates the environment. The training determines what gets built in it. 2 to 3 resistance training sessions per week. Progressive overload. This is the companion to the growth hormone stack that makes it everything it is capable of being. Number 6, know what to expect and what a typical protocol looks like. A standard Ipamorelin and CJC-1295 protocol typically involves subcutaneous injection, a small injection just under the skin, similar to what diabetics use for insulin, administered at bedtime 5 days per week. The compounds are typically cycled, used for a period of 3 to 6 months, followed by a break, to prevent receptor desensitization and to allow your body's own growth hormone axis to maintain its responsiveness. Results are not immediate and they are not dramatic in the first 2 weeks. Sleep improvements tend to come first, often within 2 to 4 weeks. Body composition changes, the gradual decrease in fat and increase in lean mass typically become noticeable at 6 to 8 weeks and continue to develop over the course of the protocol. This is not a quick fix. It is a sustained biological restoration that compounds over time. The women who get the best results are the ones who approach it with that understanding and who stay consistent with both the protocol and the lifestyle that supports it. Number 7, know what labs to discuss with your provider before and during this protocol. Before starting Ipamorelin and CJC-1295, a baseline IGF-1 level is important. It gives you and your provider a picture of where your growth hormone axis currently stands and a benchmark to measure against. Fasting glucose and insulin levels are relevant because growth hormone can affect insulin sensitivity and monitoring is appropriate. Vitamin D level, as we covered, is essential, and a general metabolic panel gives your provider the full picture of where your body is starting from. During the protocol, IGF-1 is monitored to ensure levels are rising into an optimal range without going too high. This is the guardrail that physician supervision provides, and it is the reason working with a qualified provider is non-negotiable with this stack. Here is what I want you to carry out of today. The decline of growth hormone in menopause is real, measurable, and responsible for many of the body composition, sleep, and cognitive changes that women in this season of life struggle with most. Ipamorelin and CJC-1295 address that decline by restoring a more youthful and physiologically natural growth hormone pulse, producing improvements in sleep quality, lean muscle mass, fat metabolism, skin integrity, and cognitive function when used correctly and supported by the right lifestyle foundation. Vitamin D3 with K2, omega-3s for inflammation, resistance training for muscle demand, and protected sleep as the delivery mechanism is what separates transformational results from modest ones. The stack is powerful. Foundation is what unlocks it. If you are ready to understand what your growth hormone decline has been costing you and what you can do about it, I want you inside the Menofabulous community, where we have these conversations with real clinical depth and real coaching support. Click the link below this video and join the Menofabulous community right now. Your body is not stopped responding. It has been waiting for the right signal. I will see you in episode 4.